This is your old man here again, messing around with my toy motocross bikes. Losi Promoto MX, yeah. Had another good weekend. Had 2 different days, 5 bikes. Not enough for marshaling, so yeah, learn how to keep them upright. But what I've done is I'm running blue and yellow in these videos, and both of those bikes have, and I'm trying to shorten the bike without compromising the suspension too much. Somebody had commented they want all the travel on it. And on the front end, you only get 10 because of the issue with air in the shock. That's on the back. If you limit too much, your preload, and you got to change your preload on your rear spring. And then it has to do with how hard the surface is. But the blue and yellow bikes both have, the bike has dropped down about 6 millimeters from what they normally would set. And that's actually with the front end dropped up. Probably the 10 millimeter limit in the front, drop them about a millimeter and a half. Redundant shots of this corner here, looking for shake. Another way to lower the bike is to make a different rocker arm for the lower rear shock. Increase the angle by about 12 degrees. In other words, 90 to about 102 degrees. We'll lower it about 6 millimeters. But you still have to limit the outside of that shock to keep the wheel off the seat. It's compressed. Looking at arc ruts in the face of the jump. And then talking about some wheelies, how to do backflips, forward flips, because tricks are limited. If you land a forward flip, we'll call it a forward flip. Otherwise, it's endo. Fender scrubbing wheelies don't help. And inconsistent traction will give you front end lift. Fender scrubbing, and right here he gets it just wrong on that grate. And if you by luck, by chance, I've done some backflips on the racetrack. You can't have a camera out there all the time to get them. And the key is just getting that too much horsepower, and it's flipping over so quickly that the gyro can't come in and hit the brake, because that's what you've got. Now you can run these without the gyro system. Put a different receiver. I think you could even just unplug the MX6 function. Just unplug that wire. It won't try to correct steering, and you'll find that in cornering you really got to get it right if you don't have the computer helping you. And that's built in the receiver. You can run them. I've done it without. Cornering is really hard. So like I said, the yellow bike here has got, and all of these have the front limited. So they're all bringing down 10 millimeters on the fork length. Mark's got, of course, I got the stiffer wheel on both of these too. They have that V2 on the front, stock on the back. And I'm not sure Mark with the red bike, he was trying the MX33, which is what I just think it's too aggressive. I went back to stock wheel on the back, and it's fairly new, so it's rigid. They get flexible as you beat them up, and that will affect the shake in the back when you're on the horsepower. But your preload, you got to readjust your, if you're limiting any of your suspension, you can't on the front. I found they were a little bit stiff, I think, by limiting the forks 20 millimeters. You got to try 2 light springs. I need some spring kits instead of the heavy and the light. Put 2 light springs in the front. Slow some of the rebound. or you could trim a spring, and that's how you get a dual rate. That's 2 different weight springs in the front forks on these. Once your gate starts here, I think I learned you kind of lay back, but I'm looking at the drop off too on that sweeper. Being able to lay maintain an angle when you land. And I found myself kind of taking advantage of that, not squaring the bike up. In other words, the bike shook by shortening it. It shook a whole lot less when it landed sideways. And then that's with better front rim too. See, he landed right there. He landed on the front wheel. Just the whole thing just went nuts. He has a stock wheel with 10 mil fork limit. And that is chopped up too. I mean, these bikes tear them up. This is why you can't mix these with trucks. Your track's not gonna pack down a groove. So here I ran it on the grooves, ready for the trucks to go. I can tell you that even with that hot lap street tire, these things will rip a track to shreds. So you could never get it to groove. And now I'm telling you, the back is too much preload on the rear shock. A hard surface. A little bit with the Sony camera. A little bit better graphic. Just looking at the bounce on them, how hard I can come out of the corner. So shortening that definitely, I think it makes it a little more predictable. On the front wheel, and with some kickers, we tear the track up. More of our showboating. There you go, hit it just right. Just right on that super traction. So that's the trick to a trick backflip. Bouncing, wheelie bouncing on a corner that's a limited rear end. Just gets it clean. Chance timing, that's all I got for you. Keep tapping the throttle.